Hello and happy New Year's Eve. I'm Ruby Romina and this is BB. So I thought for this New Year's Eve I would actually quickly do a free New Year's Eve Oracle cards reading. And for this reading I've decided to use Tori Hartman's Chakra Oracle Wisdom cards. Well, I hope I've said that right and I've got it in the right order. Anyway, so what has this year actually, what lessons has this year taught to us? I'm sure it's taught us something because as we go through life, our experiences and our desires and our hopes and our dreams and even our disappointments are great teachers, aren't they? They're great points of counsel, aren't they? So I'm going to shuffle the cards and select two cards. Oh, there's one popping out already. Sometimes you just can't help it. Sometimes, a card just wants to come forth. So let me keep shuffling. And are you getting everything ready for tonight? Are you going to be going out for New Year's Eve? Or are you going to be staying in with your family and friends? And that one seemed to jump as well. So I don't think the camera quite caught it, but it sort of jumped like that. So this was the first card. And the first card is self-worth. Oh, what a lovely, lovely card. And you know what? These cards are absolutely beautiful, aren't they? So the first card is self-worth, and the second card is prayer. Oh, very interesting. Self-worth and prayer. So now, okay, prayer and self-worth. So has this been a year for you where you have actually, I don't know, is it been a year where you haven't decided to play small, where you've decided that you're going to, that you're going to excel and that you're not going to put yourself down and hide in a little corner because people that maybe don't like your change or your transition into who you really are feel intimidated. This is what self-worth is all about, isn't it? It's about allowing yourself to love and to be loved and allowing all parts of your life, all areas of your life to actually thrive. So hopefully this really has been a year where more and more of us have been actually, actually being our best selves and realizing that self-love and self-worth is actually very important, and we can't really travel on our path in life. And it's very interesting because that's the reverse of the card. That's the on all of the backs of these cards. But looking at it, I just thought traveling through life. But we can't really travel that well through life, can we? Unless we realize that we really, truly are worthy of all of the gifts that we have at our disposal. And even if it seems as though those gifts are far, far away, we can actually utilize them. We can manifest them by believing and hoping and perhaps even praying. Has this been a year of prayer for you? Maybe you don't believe in God, maybe you don't pray, but maybe in other ways you have faith. Faith and hope, that can be a type of prayer, can't it? Has it been a year where if you do have a faith and you believe in God, has this been a year where you have utilized the power of prayer? Because prayer can really be very, very powerful, can't it? And a prayer can sometimes almost take the form of an affirmation, a positive affirmation. So, like I said before, if you don't actually have a faith, if you're atheist or agnostic, then you can pray in other ways, can't you? You can pray by going outside and looking at the lovely blue sky or even the grey sky and the clouds, and you can focus your mind and fix your mind on the things that you truly desire, not only for yourself, but for others. And I think that maybe this really has been a year where, on a mass scale, on a larger scale, that people have actually been praying and wishing the best for everyone and realizing that everyone has self-worth. I mean, for instance, the refugee crisis comes to mind actually when it comes to self-worth and prayer. Sometimes it's human nature, isn't it, to think everything's that there isn't enough, that there aren't enough resources to go around, so we can't have any refugees, can we? Because there won't be enough. But I think that after a while, our higher selves, we realize that it's no good being that way, and it's a pointless way of thinking, isn't it? Whereas if you actually start to think about self-worth and yours, you start to naturally think about the self-worth of other people as well, don't you? You start to think about how worthy they are. And remember, every refugee and every person that's escaping from hard economic times or persecution, that kind of thing, they are worthy of self-worth as well. So I think it has actually been a wonderful year where people really have actually, where we've all realised that everyone is worth something. Nobody is worth nothing, and all life is precious, and all life is equal. And I think it really has been a year where the mass population has you know has come to grips with this realization. BB turning round. And the thing is, I'm just going to discard this, put that down there because it looks a bit messed up. Animals, they say, don't they, never work with animals on camera because they never do what you what you want them to do. But anyway, back to these gorgeous cards, prayer. And I think that so many people, even if, like I said, if you don't have a faith, if you don't believe in God, then there are so many other ways that you can pray, for yourself and your family and your friends and for humankind. And again, I think this has been a wonderful year where it has been a year full of love and full of prayer and full of affirmations, not just for the self, but for other people, for their selves. Because again, I think about about refugees, whether they're political refugees or economic refugees, but I just feel that prayer, the manifestation of prayer, has actually been very prevalent, and it has actually it has actually helped people. It has actually brought people or taken people away from terrible, atrocious war zones and that kind of thing. So I think it has been an amazing year when it comes to prayer and releasing that selfish part of yourself and putting it to a higher power and entrusting it to a higher power. And I do actually hope that if you have been actually on a bit of a downer this year, that I hope that you realise that you can take these lessons into the year that's going to start from tomorrow. So if you haven't actually been looking after yourself, if you've been putting every other person apart from yourself, in the foreground, it's your time to shine. It's your time to be your turn and time to be in the foreground, so you can make your journey into life in the best possible way. Obviously, you know how to make that journey, but like I said, when you realise that you're your own best friend and nobody else. Oh, look at the table wobble! And it reminds me of a song actually. I think it's called I Know Him So Well. It was an 80s song. And it talks about nobody in your life is with you constantly and no one is completely on your side. I'll start singing in a minute, so. But anyway, it's true. The only person who is with you constantly and the only person who is with you throughout your journey in life is you. It's you, isn't it? And no one else is completely on your side apart from you. And then even perhaps you're not even always on your own side. So I hope that if you haven't been giving yourself that self-worth, and maybe perhaps you've been sabotaging yourself in subconscious ways, then I hope you really do take this energy and utilize it and become very aware of it and start to actually promote your own self-worth as well as others. And prayer. Oh gosh, prayer. I, for one, do believe in a higher power. I admit I haven't really prayed for quite some time, but I believe also sometimes a wish is a prayer, a good thought for someone is a prayer. But some people do feel a need to actually, to pray in a more religious way. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no rights, there's no wrongs when it comes to prayer. And like I said, perhaps you're not comfortable with this whole, higher power thing. Maybe you're confused about it, or again, who am I to say what's right and what's wrong when it comes to people's belief systems? And that's why the world is in such a mess, isn't it? When it comes to belief systems, because a lot of people are insistent on their way or no way, or even worse, their way or the highway. But I think it has to be kind of your way. But if people don't agree with it, then that's fine as well, isn't it? That's the way I see it. So I hope that, this has been a year where you really have put prayer to good use and that if, like I said, if you pray to God or whoever you pray to or whatever, I hope that you've really taken your prayer life seriously. But if you don't have a faith, or like I said, you're agnostic or, atheist, then you can pray in lots and lots of other ways. You can even meditate and that kind of thing, can't you? Now, remember, if you haven't been praying, then I think it's a little bit of a hint to maybe start praying. And if you haven't, like I said, been actually promoting your own self-worth, then this is time to do so. Now, let me hold these here a little bit more. Never quite sure which way this is going to go. Sorry, my spatial ability is absolutely awful, I must admit. Now, anyway, I'm going to wrap up this lovely oracle cards reading for New Year's Eve, and I hope that you have a fabulous New Year's Eve and have lots of fun, be merry, and don't drink too much if you're going to drink. And don't drink or drive. Drink and drive, of course, that's another one, important one, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to be back tomorrow with a New Year's Day oracle cards reading or angel cards reading, or even tarot, so who knows. Anyway, for the time being, it's bye from me, and it's bye from BB. You can say bye, BB. Say bye. Bye, and have a brilliant, absolutely fabulous New Year's Eve. Mwah.